the screen is a lot more blue than it appears to be. It's kind of crazy just how blue the screen comes across on screen. On camera. Anyway, so last night, my friends came over for... Well, I don't want to say for the night. You know what? Ignore that. Last night, my friends came over. We hung out. They, they wanted to come over to hang out. So last night, we ended up watching Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney. I'll talk about the movie in a second. And then, a couple of other things to talk about today. At first, today, I was going to have a pretty stacked schedule. Today, I was planning to talk about the Immaculate movie. And then, the usual stuff, plus, a lot of new episodes that came out. Would have been an episode of Beast Games, an episode of From, final episode of Secret Level, an episode of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and Invincible Season 3. So that's a pretty stacked schedule. That's a pretty stacked load of shows or content to talk about. So I figured for today, just for today, given the sheer volume of content to discuss, fuck From. Let's not watch an episode of that for today. See, that's what I thought at first. Until I realized that, well, despite the fact that episode 3... Well, actually... Wait, I think multiple episodes came out. Despite the fact that, I think 3 more episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has come out 3 days ago. I believe the second batch of episodes came out February 5th, and today's the 8th. Despite the episodes being out for a handful of days now, this show is damn near impossible to find online. And the extremely shady website I've been using to watch the first 2 episodes, 3 days later, has not updated with the 3 new episodes. Given the fact that this show is just so impossible to find online, the fact that I do not want to financially support Disney Plus on bad content, and the fact that I'm not entirely excited for this show, I'm watching it for the sake of completion, I decided, you know what, this show's not really worth all the effort to put into finding it for now, so for now, I'm just going to ignore Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. For now. I decided I'm going to wait until the entire show is out. Should take like another week or 2. And then I decided I'm not going to support Disney financially on bad content. I will support them financially for good content. So I'm going to wait until Daredevil Born Again is airing on Disney Plus. I'm gonna pay for a month subscription. Even though I think the show has 9 episodes, so that's 9 weeks. We can get to it when we get there. So yes, when Daredevil Born Again is airing on Disney Plus, I will do a quick subscription. Watch Daredevil Born Again, show them, hey, this is good stuff. I want to pay for good stuff. You give me crap like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I'm not paying for that. But basically, yeah, Daredevil Born Again, when that airs on Disney Plus, gonna do a light subscription to that, a quick subscription, and then, at the same time, I'll just quickly binge watch the rest of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But why don't you just use the free week's subscription? The free week's trial? I am not wasting a week free trial on Spider-Man. Yes, that is actually a sentence I just said. So, for now, I'm going to hold off on watching Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and discussing it. And like I said, because today's schedule would have been so packed if I was able to watch the episode, I decided screw watching From since there's so much to discuss. And well, I found out too late, so I did not watch an episode of From regardless anyways. So after having said all that, what exactly do I have to discuss today? Well, the movie Immaculate, the final episode of Secret Level, the second last episode of Beast Games, and the first episode of Invincible Season 3. So, no From, and no Spider-Man. So after that long-ass pointless discussion, let me see what kind of music I can start playing. So before we talk about the Immaculate movie, a couple of small things I want to mention. Small little topics to talk about. Okay, so first of all, yesterday I got a shiny Burmy in Pokemon Go. This is a big W, because to me, Shiny Mothim is superb. However, I don't think I'm going to evolve this just because I already have a Best Buddy Shiny Mothim I got during Sinnoh Tour. So I think I'll keep this as Shiny Burmy. And then, earlier today, I got Shiny Joltik with terrible IVs. So yesterday, before my friends came over at nighttime, yesterday morning, my dad brought me to go get my flu shot, and literally everyone was telling me, rather late to get your flu shot, don't you think? Everyone got their flu shots around like October, November, and here I am getting it nearly the first week of February. So yeah, the reason I got my flu shot right now is because I'm going on a trip to Japan in less than a month. And every last bit of protection I can get in a foreign country, you never know what could happen. And because I believe the flu shot after injected takes like 2 weeks for it to take effect, so the sooner I get it, the better. If I wasn't gonna get it yesterday, then I would have had to wait an extra week until February 13th to get it, which still would be more than 2 weeks before going on the trip, but hey, the sooner the better, right? Yesterday morning, first of all, is actually when I got that shiny Burmy. But yeah, yesterday morning, my dad brought me to some shady, dirty-looking little pharmacy in an abandoned Asian mall. So not really the most ideal place to be getting a flu shot of all things. And when I tell you it was a shady-looking, dirty little pharmacy in an abandoned Chinese mall, I mean it. I sure as hell would not feel comfortable getting a goddamn flu shot in a place like that. But hey, who am I to argue, right? My dad literally already drove me there. I already sat my ass down, I already signed the consent form. Which, yes, they actually did make me sign a freaking form. It was your basic stuff, like, name, phone number, date of birth, any allergies, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was like, damn. That does not look like the place you would ideally get a freaking flu shot, or any shot to be safe. So, yeah, we all know I am deathly afraid of needles. Like, terrified. I cannot stand needles. However, this time, despite still being scared, I honestly didn't really feel it. I felt a light poke, and it was It was over before I knew it. Maybe I've gained so much weight, there's too much fat tissue, I actually didn't feel it. I wonder if my arm was, like, you know, no fat, all muscle, I would have felt it more. But because I have so much fat, it just, like, you know, blocked out all the pain and discomfort. So yeah, for, like, the first time in my life, taking a shot, I didn't really feel it. That still doesn't change the fact that I am terrified of needles, you know? Nothing in this lifetime will ever make me not afraid of needles. You know, Elon Musk could pay me $1 billion. Here, I'm paying you this money. Get rid of that fear. It's like, that's not how it works, sir. You can pay me all the money you want. That won't change the fact that I'm still scared. You cannot just buy my bravery like that. You can't just buy away my fear. But anyways, so yeah, yesterday I got my flu shot. And you know how sometimes when you immediately get a shot afterwards, you know, there could be side effects like headache or a fever or more commonly a sore arm. So you know how sometimes you get a shot, you get a little bit of side effects? Well, because yesterday after I got my flu shot, my friends were gonna come over that night, and I felt a little hint, just a hint of a headache. I don't want to say it was really bad. It was just a tiny hint of discomfort. And also because yesterday my sister asked me to go to a different mall's clothing store to look for 2 different sweaters, 2 different hoodies she wanted. I decided, okay, fine. I will leave work early to go do a little bit of shopping. You know, go to Walmart, pick up some stuff. I did not find any Rogaine, but whatever. Maybe you have to ask the clerk, ask the people behind the pharmacy desk. Anyway, so, yeah. I primarily picked up some cheese at Walmart. I also went to GameStop because currently, for Pokemon Day, they have a distribution for Eevee, Flying Terra type. You can see right here, I got the code right in front of me. And let me give you the code. Psych! Of course I didn't scratch it yet. So yeah, I went to Walmart. I also went to GameStop to pick up, you know, 2 codes because 2 games, Scarlet and Violet. I also picked up some stuff at the food court, went to Taco Bell, went to KFC. Now, I did not get any drumsticks or, you know, breast meat. I did not buy anything like that from KFC because, you know, KFC has completely lost all of my trust, except for one particular item that they have. If you guys want the best deal from KFC, the large bucket of popcorn chicken for $15 Canadian, to me is the best deal. Is $15 pricey? Yes, but hey, so is a 4-piece meal for like, I don't know, $12.99. That's probably a generous price too. In reality, it's probably like $16.99. So yeah, $15 for a large bucket of popcorn chicken. You get the same 11 herbs and spices. You get them in bite-sized pieces, and the volume of actual meat content is probably more than, you know, the amount of, like, meat on a 4-drumstick meal. You know what I mean? So, like, in my opinion, the best deal, the best item to get at KFC is the $15 Canadian popcorn chicken bucket. The large one, too. So yeah, in my opinion, that's the best one to get. So yesterday, went to Walmart, went to GameStop, went to buy some Taco Bell and KFC, and then I also went to the Apple store because there was one item in particular I've needed to pick up for a while. After I picked up said item from the Apple store, basically all my friends shat on me for buying it. Now, let me show you exactly what item I bought. This is the item I bought from the Apple store. Wired earbuds. Now, where's my adapter at? Huh, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Now, I already had this thing, you know, because, yes, that's a bite mark. I think my dog bit that long time ago. So, I already had this. It's meant to adapt the headphone jack to the phone, the charger. Because you know how iPhones no longer have both the charging hole as well as the headphone jack? So I was fully getting ready to, purchase the, the earbuds with this on the end so that I could actually connect it with this. But then the lady, introduced me to this, where it's already like that. How much did I spend? How much did I buy this for? $25. Plus tax, that's like $28.25 Canadian. So yeah, I picked that up. Why the hell did I pick that up? For my trip? Yeah, for my trip. So why did all my friends shat on me for buying it? For a multitude of reasons. If it wasn't, why didn't you buy that for cheaper at Costco? It was, why didn't you just buy AirPods? Well, for one, why didn't I buy this at Costco for cheaper? Because I didn't think about it. And also, how often do I go to Costco, right? They told me if you spent anything more than $20, you got ripped off. Man, it was like $8.25 I spent extra than I would have at Costco. I'll live. It's $8. I'll live. And, on the question of why didn't I just buy AirPods, I think you guys already know the answer to that. I will not further elaborate because you should know why by now. Why I do not have AirPods and why I will never buy AirPods willingly. Unless they're gifted to me, that's a different story, but nobody's ever gonna do that. So yeah, I got shat on by everyone for actually buying this. And then, the reason my sister wanted me to go to the mall is to go to a clothing store to see if they had the two different hoodies that she wanted. Now, the reason she asked her brother to buy it for her instead of her freaking husband is because she knows her husband's a cheap man. And, well, when I went yesterday, it was all sold out. And then, wow, and genuinely, to my surprise, my sister told me her husband texted her earlier today saying he found it and he bought it for her. That's actually to my surprise, given just how goddamn cheap the man is. Like, geez, imagine being in my brother-in-law's position if he was asked this. He goes into the certain clothing store, and because my sister is so tiny, she can literally fit into a large size kid's clothes. So that's exactly what she wanted. That's exactly what her husband bought her. So it's like, damn, imagine being in my brother-in-law's position if he was asked this. He goes up to the cashier, rings up two large kid-size hoodies. He's asked, "Are you buying this for your daughter?" "No, I'm buying this for my wife." "Excuse me? You know these are kids' clothes, right? What do you mean your wife?" It's like, damn. if he was asked that, that'd be mad awkward. I'm just saying hypothetical. It's not like he was actually asked that. Not that he was actually questioned about that. Yes, you know, what's wrong with a grown adult man going into a clothing store by himself buying kids' clothes? And aside from my sister wanting me to buy her hoodies for kids that she fits into, she also asked me to go to a different store. A collector's store, you know, the store that sells like a bunch of knickknacks, blind boxes, whatever. She wanted me to go because there were two BTS collector cups that she wanted me to buy. And while I was at the mall, I also bought some bubble tea. Now let me tell you, this is the last time I ever ordered bubble tea from a kiosk. Because, you know, normally I just go up to the counter and I let the person taking the order know I would like a particular milk tea. But at the goddamn kiosk, it's like, choose your options. Like, what do you mean choose my option? Options were fresh milk, oat milk, and milk tea. It's like, what the hell is the option of milk tea? I'm buying a milk tea. What do you mean one of the options is milk tea? So my dumbass, because I don't know what to pick, I always just order and I get the same thing. So I don't know. My dumbass chose fresh milk, because how the hell am I supposed to know? And you know, to nobody's surprise, all I got was fresh milk and tea. It's like, I don't know this stuff. I order at the counter and I get the same drink every time. I order at the kiosk, there's all these different options. I don't know what to pick. I tell you what, that's the last time I order at a kiosk for bubble tea. Hell, I don't even order at the kiosk when I go to like McDonald's. You know, what's so hard about going to the counter and asking the cashier for what you want and then paying there? What's so hard about that? Why did we have to advance so much to where we do the self-serve at the kiosk? Like, why did we even need that? And before you say, well, it reduces like lineup time or whatever, it's like, how big of a problem was that really before? Whatever. So that was my day yesterday. And then, after I was done shopping at the mall, getting my Pokemon codes, getting my sister's clothes and cups, getting shat on for what I bought at the Apple store, I then went home and I tried to take a quick nap before my friends got here. Because like I said, I felt a little something in my head after, after the flu shot. You know, in terms of that flu shot, since I got it at an abandoned, empty Chinese mall, I guess you could say the Chinese nanites are now flowing in my blood thanks to that shot. So last night, my friends came over. We watched Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney. Yes, we watched the movie primarily for Sydney Sweeney. I'll talk about the movie in a second. I'm not gonna go in depth breaking down the movie, but I'll still break it down somewhat in a second. Maybe it's time to change up the music a little bit. That was an ad playing, or about to play, before I stopped it. Okay, so before I talk about Immaculate, I want to talk about what we did after. Well, actually, two things happened. We ended up playing a board game, or more like a party game, you know, it's not really a board game. While my friends were reading the rules, getting used to how the game worked, me on the other hand, I was off on the side, my phone in one hand, my friend's phone in the other hand, and I was just, you know, scrolling through both of our Pokemon TCG Pocket collections to see what to trade. I was looking at what cards I had that he didn't have, and vice versa, what cards he had that I didn't have. And I also made sure that whichever card I was trading between us, each of us had multiple of it. That way, you know, we register one new card each with the trade. I primarily traded between myself. A lot of simple cards that both of us were still missing, you know, a bunch of 1 and 2 stars. I think I did a trade for like a Voltorb for a Krabby. And I did a trade for like Giovanni and another 2-star card. Like simple stuff. I traded him a Magikarp for something else. So I mostly just did look through both of our phones, looking through both of our card collections, like, okay, what are we each missing? What can I trade to you that you don't have, and what can you trade to me that I don't have? I know, I should have traded some, you know, higher rarity cards, but it's like, oh well. And also, one thing I didn't even know my phone had as a feature, like I thought my phone was just outdated to the point it didn't even have this. You know how phones these days, you can just literally tap and then get your contacts? Like, someone could tap their phone onto mine and I can instantly get their phone number into mine. Well, because I had his phone side by side to mine, it was close enough for like the airdrop. And then I was able to share his contacts with my phone. And it's like, wow, I didn't even know my phone had this. I thought I had to set it up somehow. And I didn't even know I had something like this to be able to set up. But no, I just already automatically have it. I didn't know that. But then again, it still goes back to my argument, like how hard is it really for me to just open my phone, open up the contacts, and manually input someone's name and phone number? How hard is that? That'll take me like 30 seconds. So anyways, last night, you know, while I was busy trading Pokemon cards with myself on my friend's phone, oh man, you guys should have seen it. It was like 5 of us geeking out on Pokemon cards on our phones. It was amazing. Like, you just don't really see that anymore with literally physical, real-life cardboard anymore. But then my group of friends, it's like we all were talking non-stop about our digital Pokemon cards. Like, what card did you get? Oh my god, you got that card? Great, let me trade you. Yo, let's trade. I can trade too. To the point one of my other friends was like, what's the deal with that app, by the way? Everyone has it. Hold on, let me download it real quick. Let me see what all the rage is about. And he was playing it non-stop for like 20 minutes. So yeah, the card game we played yesterday, the literal card game, is called Code Names. So, Code Names right here, you guys can't really see it. Hold on. Let me clear off the table. Code Names, see? This one right here, Code Names. So we played this last night. So let me briefly run over how code names work, in case those who don't know how to play it. It's a little confusing at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually quite fun. So you basically have two teams. You have a red team and a blue team. And both teams have someone to give, like, hints. I'm trying to find one of the cards. Here it is, as an example. Okay, so you have cards with words on it. Let me just pull out a couple as an example. You have cards with words on it. Kind of like, for example, you can see here a card, strings. You know, it says so upside down for both sides to see. You have cards like strings or knight, missile or paste, embassy or robot, octopus or whip. So you have cards with random words like so. You have two different teams. You have red team and blue team. So you tell, you know, two different teams. You hold on to the red cards or the blue cards. So what you do is you lay out these cards with words in a 5x5 grid. And then you take one of these cards. One of these cards, so you know, red and blue. And also the color here depends on which team goes first. Either blue team goes first or red team goes first. So for example, you know, you have a 5x5 grid of random words. And, you know, one person's job is to... Okay, let's pretend I am Team Red. And we have... Oh my god, this is so confusing. let me deviate real quick. So, you know, pretend this is like 5x5. So something like this. Let's say this is the top corner. So I am Team Red. I need to say something that connects the two words. Whip and paste. I don't know, like dessert or food. So if I give the word food, the people need to guess based on the 5x5 of group of words. Okay, which one could he be referring to? You know, it's like, once again, pretend it's the top corner. Okay, you said one word. So you basically, oh my god. So I'm trying to explain a card game, and it is so confusing to explain. So let's see. So you have to decide one word. You can only say one word. One word to describe as your hint. And then you have to say the number of cards that you are referring to with the hint. So assume I'm Team Red. There are so many red spots here. However, if I have a hint in mind that only contributes to 2 of them, I say 2. So if I'm looking at the words whip and paste, I could think of the word food. So I need to say 2 food. So my team would know, like, okay, out of the 5x5 words, 2 of them refers to food. Like, also my team won't know which cards are red and which cards are blue. So, you know, if they guess red, then they get a point. Once everything has been guessed, they win. If they guess blue, that's a point for blue. If they guess a blank one, then that's neutral. And if they guess the X, then they instantly die. It's confusing? I know it is. At first it was confusing for me too, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty fun. Okay, let me pull out some different words to see if I can really, you know, really get like, oh, I dropped a card. Really get across what this game even means. Okay, let's take a break for a second. I know we're shiny hunting, but regardless. Okay, so let's see. So you lay out random cards with random words. Assume it's 5 by 5 instead of 2 by 2. So someone... Okay, so pretend it's the top corner. Pretend it's like this, and I am team red. I want my team to guess the 2 red, so these 2. So I could guess food 2. So that means 2 cards, and the hint is food. It's like, okay, he's guessed food. Maybe it's ham, so I place the red card. Or maybe it's like, a buck. You can kill it and eat it. That's food. If they do that. Oh no, that's blue. So they guessed wrong. Blue gets a point. Or what if I switch it up? So, I need to think of a hint. If I'm red, I need to think of a hint. What is one word that could connect this? And give a hint to my team that these 2 are the ones I'm thinking of. What is one word that could describe both buck and paste, right? You know, if I ever watch this back, I don't even know if I would understand what I'm saying. Okay, so for example, enough with the examples at this point. So last night I was the one giving hints. So one of the words on the card was bell. So I gave my team a hint like, okay, 1. So one word, 1 chain. So I tried to get them to guess the word bell with chain because I was thinking, well, Taco Bell is a food chain. So one hilarious example my friend did last night, which was totally unnecessary, but he did regardless. So he gave one word as a hint. No, wait, no. No, that's not how it works. He said 1, which is how many number of cards he was thinking. And his guess, the word on the card was litter. You know, litter. You're littering on the floor. Litter. The word he said was 1 card, India. And we instantly knew, okay, India, the word is litter. Out of all the options available, it's litter. I think this would make more sense if it was an actual like 5 by 5 and I can properly explain it. But I kind of don't have room here to explain 5 by 5. Not gonna lie, this card game is actually pretty fun once you understand how it works. I don't know who comes up with these kind of games. Like, who comes up with these party games? You really have to think outside the box. To the point, like, you know, you even make it a freaking physical game that you sell in stores. Like, who comes up with this stuff? Who comes up with these ideas and then literally patents it, prints it, produces it, and sells it in stores? Who comes up with these ideas? I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it's pretty impressive. They thought of this idea and literally sold it. But yeah, not gonna lie, once you figure out how this game actually works with all the rules, it's actually pretty fun. A lot of laughs came from playing this last night. Man, my friends and I, we literally stayed up until 1 a.m. playing this today. Or yesterday night. And to think I wasn't paying attention the first round because I was too busy trading digital Pokemon cards to myself. Okay, let me put this away before I start talking about the content. Oh, I didn't even put everything away yet. So, once I'm done putting everything away, I'm about to talk about Sydney Sweeney. Well, it wouldn't be the first time I talked about Sydney Sweeney on this channel. Remember when I watched Anyone But You, starring her and Glenn Powell? I don't even remember what I was doing when I talked about that. But yeah, that was a pretty good film as well. Would you believe there was more Sydney Sweeney titties in this movie than there was in Anyone But You? In fact, that movie had more Glenn Powell buttocks than there were Sydney Sweeney boobies. So yeah. Okay, when did this film come out? It came out last year, but when? This movie came out, wow, March? Has it been that long already? The movie Immaculate starring Sydney Sweeney came out March 22nd, 2024. Has it been that long? Jeez. I remember seeing ads for this movie, but, you know, despite Sydney Sweeney, I wasn't really interested. And here I am, basically 11 months later, or more like 10 months later, watching it. Alright, let's see here. I'm on Wikipedia. Immaculate grossed $15.7 million in the US and Canada, and $19.7 million in other territories, for a total of $35.3 million. Pretty good. I can't imagine the budget was too high for this movie. So, $35.3 million. Well, depending on what the budget was for this movie, maybe it broke even. Unless I know the number, it's like, I don't know, $35.3 million seems respectable, depending on how high the budget was. And also, let's face it, let's be real. If not for Sydney Sweeney, this movie would not have done half as good. Let's face it, that's just a fact. Alright, so like I said, I'm not gonna go too in-depth breaking down the movie, but I'm still gonna talk about basically the main plot points. So, you know, we actually start off the movie with some random nun trying to leave her estate She grabs the keys to the lock to the front gate. She's trying to unlock it. She turns around and sees like 4 ghostly shadow figures that it kind of looks like what we saw with the Coven of the Seven, I think it was called, in Agatha. So she's not able to escape fast enough. She ends up trying to crawl away, but then her leg gets grabbed, and then her leg gets twisted and broken. Literally broken from, the gate. And then we cut to, well, our main character. Our main character, Sister Cecilia, played by Sydney Sweeney. I'll be honest, throughout the movie, I barely remembered the character's name. I just saw Sydney Sweeney on screen. So yes, Sister Cecilia is getting a new job at... Where was this even taking place? Well, I don't even know where this movie literally takes place. Maybe in, like, Europe? Anyways, it looks like she's moving from maybe the US to, like, Europe to live in a church where a bunch of nuns reside. Man, how bad is it that the first scene we see with Sydney Sweeney's Cecilia character, she's talking to like 2 officers looking through her paperwork, and it's like, why does this kind of look like the intro to a porn flick? Like, why does it kind of resemble that? It's like, lady, if you would like a job, I'm gonna need something in return. Why did it kind of give off that kind of vibe? Anyways, so, she goes to the church place. Questionable things she sees here. It also turns out that, Cecilia turned to Christianity at a young age when she nearly drowned. She was like underneath ice and she nearly drowned, but then she was saved by quote-unquote God. She was spared by God, so she found Christianity that way. To my surprise, they actually briefly, and I mean briefly, filmed a scene like that. It was just a flashbang seeing Sydney Sweeney borderline drowning underneath ice. It was literally 1 second, but hey, if anything, respects to the filmmakers for actually filming that and putting it in the movie. Show, don't tell. Even if it is 1 second, show, don't tell. From could learn a lot about that. So anyway, she goes to this place, she meets a couple of people, she meets a fellow nun named Sister Isabel, and I'm just like, again? A nun named Isabel again? And I thought the setting for this place even slightly resembled, the Abbey in Daryl Dixon. It kind of even resembled that. So yes, another Sister Isabel. As well as Sister Gwen. She meets this guy, I think his name is like... This Father Guy, I don't know. Whatever, Cecilia starts to get settled in. She sees this person rolled over. She goes to see if that person's okay. She rolls the person around, and then the person has no face. And I mean no face. Maybe it was a mask? I don't know. There was no face. There was no eyeballs, no mouth hole, no nostrils. It was just blank. And she was not fazed by it at all. She gets shown, like, what is this artifact right here? It is the nail that hung up Jesus. The nail itself. Okay? That prop gets brought up later in the film. Anyway, so she's at her new life, being a nun at this place. She gets to learn what it's like to be a nun, you know, doing laundry, wiping up poop from someone who's about to die. Like, there was a fellow nun who had a tumor, and I think it was the character of Isabel, who's just like, the tumor in her head is grown exponentially. I expect her to see God within the week. It's like, to meet God within the week. Damn, that's quite a way to put it. So yeah, we see Cecilia get used to her new life. You know, that's really the best way to explain it. Like, there's really not much else to explain. She's just getting used to her new life. We see a montage, a fun little hopeful montage of her hanging up laundry, having dinner, chatting with her fellow sisters, that kind of stuff. You know, eventually it's bath time, and I mean that literally, it's bath time with her fellow sisters, and they bathe with their clothes on, okay? Maybe that's just a method to clean the body and clothes at the same time. You know, we saw some Gwen tits, but we didn't really see Sydney Sweeney tits. And then Cecilia turns around and throws up. So I was the first one to point out, is she pregnant? And then turns out she is. She is pregnant. Now, earlier in the movie, she did quote-unquote drink too much that she blacked out. And, you know, there being only like one prominent male character in the film, I was thinking the worst when it was revealed she was pregnant. But they never really answered that. Or at least not directly. It's slightly hinted later on what might have caused the pregnancy. But, yeah, we'll get to that. So, yeah, she does not know how she could possibly be pregnant. She has never been with a man or a woman. They literally said that. Oh yeah, also throughout the movie, we see Cecilia see hooded figures with red faces, literally red faces. They never really answered what was going on with that. It was just a random detail throughout the film that was never really answered. So yeah, she's pregnant, but how? She's a virgin. So then, obviously, Christianity, they're treating her as, like, you know, the next Virgin Mary. She was chosen by God to carry the next child of, forgive me for not knowing everything Bible lore related. The next coming of the Savior or something like that, like the next Messiah. Well, I think second trimester in, she's taking a bath with a much bigger pregnant belly. Sister Isabel tries to drown her out of, like, jealousy. But thankfully, she does not succeed. We see that Cecilia in one scene throws up blood and even a goddamn tooth. Like, that's very not normal when it comes to pregnancy. Throwing up blood and a tooth falls out, that's very not normal. You know, she wants to go to a hospital, but the people there are like, no, we cannot go to hospitals. Hospitals are untrustworthy. Oh, what kind of music can I put on? Oh yeah, also during the montage, they show like beheading a chicken, but Cecilia couldn't do it. That, to my surprise, that actually comes back later. What kind of music can I put on? I don't know, this came to mind, despite nothing else coming to mind. Well, eventually she is walking outside of the monastery, I think. I don't know what it's called. And then she hears a lady screaming and then fall to her death. Wow, it's Isabel. She fell and died. Her face is all pretty much mutilated. Her legs are broken. It's like, damn, how'd the fall do that? Unless she landed on her legs, that would cause the legs to be mangled. But then, like, unless she fell face first to, you know, have that much blunt trauma to the face to completely mess it up to that level, it's like, how did that happen? Ugh. Unless she was killed. At some point, you know, because there are a couple of, like, elderly or mentally ill sisters in the church, one of the ladies gets out of bed and almost gives Cecilia a heart attack by scaring her awake in the dark. So Cecilia helps her back to her bed, and she notices that there is a cross branded onto the lady's foot. So that gets bad. That comes back later. Cecilia notices that there's some sort of writing on the wall behind a painting that just so happened to come loose and show the writing on the wall. It's like an excerpt from the Bible. She reads it, and then, you know, finds out like something's not right. So she goes and finds the file on herself, and it's like a bunch of hospital files, medical records about herself. It even had records of her chromosomes. It's like, the church should not have that information. She then hears a bunch of screaming happening from outside. She goes outside and takes a look. Welp, it's actually Sister Gwen tied up and being tortured. And pretty brutally way, too. In a pretty brutal way. They have her completely strapped down to a chair, completely restrained. They pull out her tongue and they just clean cut it off. With I assume that blade was very sharp and maybe heated up too. Maybe it was a hot blade, a 1,000-degree knife. Yes, it was uncomfortable to watch, but I gotta say, damn, she took it like a champ. She didn't scream as loud as you would expect for someone having your tongue cut off. So now she's getting the idea like, okay, this place is pretty weird. People are dying. There are masked figures going around doing some unholy stuff. I need to get out of here. They won't let me go to a hospital, so I'll force them to take me to a hospital. So she fakes an incident where something's wrong with the baby. She's screaming in pain, there's blood everywhere. The people at the church have no choice but to take her to the hospital. She then gets founded out that it's not her blood, there's no problem with the baby. It was chicken's blood. She beheaded a chicken and used the blood as, you know, a guise to be able to let them take her to a hospital and let her get away. She's found it out, so she tries to run, but then, you know, they catch her. She ran out to the field, and then the two guys driving the car, driving her to the hospital, just chase after her. Let me just say, she was doing pretty well for a pregnant lady doing like a 200-meter sprint, because she was literally running for dear life. Oh, I see here it's a budget of 9 million. So, making the box office of 35 million. Oh, hell yeah, this movie was pretty good. Box office wise, pretty good. See, if she was smart, she would have juked the guys, ran back around, got in the car, and drove it away. Instead of just running in a straight line where two guys who are not pregnant can very easily catch up to you. Well, she gets brought back to the church, and it's revealed what they're truly doing there. So this psycho guy is quote-unquote trying to play God. They have had dozens, maybe hundreds of, experiments trying to bring forth the next child of God or whatever. So the whole idea was they're recruiting naive, potentially desperate girls who found faith. They're recruiting them, impregnating them in order to birth a child of God. I don't think they're impregnated by a man. They didn't really make it clear. The psycho father, the psycho priest guy, he said the rusty nail that hung up Christ has DNA. So they tried to re-engineer that DNA and put it into Cecilia and other girls to make them pregnant. So it doesn't sound like a man impregnated them. So it sounds like they were impregnated through science, which isn't really much better. I don't know, it's kind of a little bit better, but whatever. So yeah, they have jars upon jars of, failed, deceased fetuses. So basically, they want Cecilia to give birth, but they cannot have her trying to escape again. So what do? They brand her feet with crosses so that she cannot run away. And, well, eventually, Cecilia cracks and she completely goes killer mode. When she had the chance during the ultrasound, she beats the Mother Superior nun to death with the cross. I'm thinking, why'd you beat her to death? Why didn't you just, with the cross, stab her straight through the eyeball? Would have made it swift and quick. Oh yeah, it's also revealed that the father priest psycho has a lab concocting these unholy experiments. So as Cecilia tries to escape, worst timing possible, her water breaks. So now she has to basically kill her way out to basically live and give birth, even though it's a kid that she did not want. So she kills the other, Pope-looking character. The doctor sees her going on a killing spree and he just runs away. We kind of just don't follow up with what happened to the doctor afterwards. He doesn't die, he just runs off and we never see him again. He goes to the priest's lab of unholy nightmares, tries to burn it down. She pours ethanol over the ground, she's about to light it up. Then the priest is like, no, don't. Even if you destroy this lab, there will be more. It won't end here. It's like, why are you even letting him have a chance to speak? Why aren't you just lighting it up? Eventually, thanks to plot armor, she manages to lock him in and light it ablaze. However, he miraculously survives because he, while burning locked inside, mustered up the strength to go and grab the fire extinguisher. My friend even had to look up, would using a fire extinguisher on an ethanol flame even work? Turns out, a university study showed that it can actually spread if you try to use a fire extinguisher on an ethanol fire. So anyways, yeah. Dude survives and he even slams down the door, so now he's out there. Cecilia needs to run away. I don't know why, like, she goes, first of all, she goes down into, like, the underground tunnels, looking like the catacombs with less skulls. Why didn't you just leave the way you came in from? Why'd you have to go down to that place? So she goes down there, and she has a flashlight in her hand. I'm thinking, like, why didn't you just use that to bash his head in? Really make sure he's dead before you safely escape. Like, the man is burnt. How much damage can he possibly do? He was already lying there unconscious. All you had to do was finish the job before he had a chance to wake up and hunt you down. Anyways, going through the bunch of dark tunnels, keep in mind her water broke, so she is doing a really great job so far. Her water broke, she killed 2 people, she managed to burn down that lab, and she's running through an underground labyrinth, trying to escape with her life, all while in labor. So she, wow, talk about rush of adrenaline. Eventually though, you know, she finds a light source, which is a little cave that she can, a little crawl tunnel she can crawl out of to get out and get away. But to no surprise, she's pulled back in. The burnt psycho priest tries to extract the baby. At first I was wondering, how are you gonna do that? Were you just gonna reach your hand in there and pull it out? No, he brought a scalpel and he was about to perform a C-section with no anesthetic. And I tell you, that was very uncomfortable to watch. The last time I saw something like that on screen was, you know, Lori giving birth to Judith. Which was also very uncomfortable to see. Also because Cecilia stole the rusty nail, you know, she just instantly kills the guy, finally. So he's dead, she has a giant cut on her belly, but she still manages to crawl out. So now Cecilia crawls out, is alone. She crawls out on top of some hill, on top of some, like, giant mountain side. Not really a mountain, but she's pretty alone and pretty high up. So she crawls out, she's on a high elevated platform. Her belly has a giant cut. Her feet have been branded on the bottom. Her water has broken. Like, damn, this girl has endured so much, and she still has so much adrenaline and strength. And then you get this really, and I mean really long, uncomfortable sequence where Sydney Sweeney just screams right into the camera because she's giving birth. She's pushing the baby out. She just kept on screaming into the camera. All my friends and I, we were like, oh my god, why is this going for so long? This scene is uncomfortably long. And then, hilariously enough, when the kid pops out, when the baby pops out, you just hear a little plop sound as it lands on the floor. I couldn't help but laugh at that. The kid just literally popped out and landed on the floor. Now, I thought pregnancy and labor and giving birth took hours, took several hours. You know, haven't you heard cases of like an entire birth taking place for like 12 hours? But her, wow, talk about raw strength. She just managed to push the baby out, plop the baby out in like 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Wow. Not only was she able to do all that after her water broke, but then when she finally was safe and free, she just screamed her lungs out and then pop out came the kid. Now, we didn't really see the baby, because that would have been too graphic to see. But she did, you know, use her teeth and rip apart the umbilical cord, which is still kind of uncomfortable to see, but like, well, I suppose it's better than seeing just a freshly born child plop onto the floor. At first my friends were saying, oh, the kid's dead. You know, immediately being born out and then immediate impact onto the floor, the kid's dead. But no, we actually see first of all, we see a blurry background little red dot meant to be the kid lying on the floor. But because Cecilia didn't want this kid, because it's the child of the devil, whatever, that brought her so much pain, she grabs a boulder, she crushes the kid, off screen of course, and then the movie ends. Now, my friend did look up like a synopsis, a plot, a written out plot for the movie. The plot said like the child was making animalistic noise. So, you know, it's a goat. It's the devil. It's that kind of stuff. So she had to kill it because it was the spawn of Satan. But like, animalistic noises? I heard no such thing. I heard the baby maybe gasping for air and trying to stay alive. I didn't hear no animalistic noise. You know what? Yes, mammals are animals. I heard the baby making natural sounds, trying to breathe and trying to stay alive. Animalistic noise. But yeah, so she just gave birth. There should be a cord hanging out of her right now because she bit it off. She has a crushed baby that she just killed. And I'm thinking though, the movie ends right there. Where could she go from there? This woman is badly beat, badly damaged. She has a giant cut on her pregnant belly because it was just an attempt at a C-section. The bottom of her feet are branded, and she freaking just gave birth. This woman has lost a lot of blood, is very injured, severely injured. Need I remind you, she just gave birth? And now she's alone on top of a very high hill in like the countryside, where she is miles and miles away from a nearby hospital, or any human help for that matter. But you know, the movie just cuts. It ends, and we just don't follow what happens to her. We don't get to see if she's okay, if she passes out and dies from all her injuries. We don't see anything. She just gives birth. She gives birth, kills the kid, and the movie ends. I don't know. It's like, damn. I would have liked to see a follow-up scene to see if our character Cecilia is alive and okay. But no, we don't get that. So that is the very terrible rundown of this movie I could give you. You're welcome. All in all, this film was okay. It wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't unwatchable. This was also classified, or this was also labeled as a horror movie. I don't know, it wasn't really a lot of horror to begin with. There were a couple of cheap jump scares and like very uncomfortable scenes. In terms of horror though, not too much. We see someone's face be beaten in, we see a lady get her tongue cut, but it's like, yes, that would be under the horror category, but in terms of like jump scares and whatnot, it's like not really that much. And the jump scares were cheap and predictable too. You know, these days I really have yet to watch a horror movie that really scares me, really terrifies me. Because now that I'm older and an adult, a lot of horror movie tropes just make me laugh. A lot of jump scares look cheap and predictable. You know, obviously when I was a kid, I was a little more easily influenced by horror movies. But like, one horror movie franchise that I was terrified of as a kid, I will probably never go back to watch even as an adult, and I have not really seen really anything with the franchise, is Boogeyman. God, the Boogeyman movies terrified me as a kid. I don't think even as an adult I can go back and rewatch those movies. Even if I now have the lens of like cheap jump scares, bad special effects, predictable tropes. I don't know if I can ever actually go back and rewatch those movies. And yeah, I haven't really heard anything from the Boogeyman franchise. Like, is that franchise even still alive? I'm terrified to look it up. Anyways, Immaculate. Movie was okay. I really don't have any reason to ever watch this movie again, aside from trying to get a peek at some Sydney Sweeney tits. But that's about it. Not too much else. There was a 2023 Boogeyman movie? I didn't know that. I don't think I want to watch it. I have no idea which Boogeyman movie I was scared of as a kid. Maybe it was Boogeyman 3? Yeah, hell no. I'm not watching this film ever again. I don't know, maybe one day when I'm like 50 years old and a very old man. Anyways, did you guys watch Immaculate? Let me know what you thought of it. Did you also watch it for Sydney Sweeney and her alone? I don't know, man. In terms of horror movies, like not really that scary. But yeah, we never found out what was going on with the people with the red faces. Like, all we can really assume is they were just some other church members who took the religion a little too far and killed off anyone who dared question their methods. Alright, so up next I'll be talking about Beast Games, but first let's see if he wants to join, since he also watched the episode. He watched it before I did. You know, earlier today at work, No Shaman Feeding surprise visited me. And then, like 2 NPCs, we were walking around and 2 other friends of ours randomly spawned in. So the 4 of us were walking around, chatting. Oh yeah, the topic of the weather came up. Tonight we're supposed to get like snow piling up to like 10 to 15 centimeters. Hey, winter's not dead. At least that's nice to see. You know, my concerns and complaints about having a gray dry Christmas. You want a white Christmas with a lot of fluffy snow, but nope. Here in Canada, and that's really concerning, especially for Canada, Christmas time usually does not have any snow. But thankfully winter, January and February makes up for it by actually having some snow. So, you know, global warming hasn't completely screwed up the season of winter just yet. Alright, so up next we got Beast Games, so episode 9 of Breast Games. This is the second last episode, and I don't really know how to talk about the first challenge of the episode. Because it's mostly just, you know, the last 10 players, only 6 can move on. They have a time limit to convince each other to vote for them, and whatever money they took from the last episode, they can use that as bribes. So it's like, I don't really know how to talk about this. At first, you know, 10 players vote one person to move forward to continue in the top 6, the final 6. They had an hour, and thankfully, you know, every single round, it was not an hour for the people to decide. Otherwise, they would be there for 6 hours. You know, every round where they needed to vote someone to move forward, the time limit grew smaller. So it went from 60 minutes to 50 to 40 to 30. Is that right? Like, I think, I don't know, maybe 40 to 20 minutes? I forget. But yeah, the time limit just went down. And I'm glad Mr. Beast did that, otherwise they would have been standing there for 6 hours. Because they needed to vote for 6 people to move on. You know, a lot of mind games were being played. And let me tell you, if I was there, I would absolutely be screwed. I would have been screwed so badly. Because my dumbass would not have any strategy to ensure my win. And also, the people here, you know, they're good people, they're honorable people. They primarily voted for a lot of, like, who deserves to move on? Who deserves a chance to win the 5 million? The most honest and fair players deserve a chance. Well, the fact that I would have folded, I would have pressed the button, won myself 1 million, and eliminated my whole team. Yeah, I would not have even came close to ending up here. But let's say I did end up here. Yeah, this would be it. Nobody would allow me to move forward. So, no surprise, like, the people who, you know, were the best players, the most respectable players, got to move forward. But that's not the case for everyone. This one guy came up with a strategy to ensure his own win, manipulating 2 other players, you know, having a strategy to lie to them in order to get himself voted in. It's like, damn, I can respect it. Would I be mad if he won versus someone playing with integrity and honor wins? Maybe a little, but not enough to, like, you know, file a complaint to the show or whatever. It's like, hey, dude, you know, dude had a strategy to get himself to win, and if he won, hey, respect. To my surprise, the guy from the last episode who took no money, so had no money to bribe, damn, he did not get to move forward to the top 6, which means he also got no money. Damn. Poor guy. Tried to do the right thing, and, well, it did not pay off for him. Did not pay him one bit. Also, to my surprise, the guy from the last episode who took the $650,000, he managed to even get a single vote. So yeah, he actually did get a vote for him. But anyways, we're now down to the top 6. And then, the second challenge of the episode, which once again left off on a cliffhanger for the final episode. So Mr. Beast gave them all a choice. Obviously, the grand prize was $5 million, but then, surprise, he doubled it. $10 million if one of the 6 players flips a coin for it. So 50-50 chance. You have a 50-50 chance to either have your prediction correct. The 6 of you move on to now try to win 10 million instead of 5. Or, if your prediction is wrong, you will get eliminated. No 5 million for you, and no 10 million for the rest of them. So out of the 6 remaining players, one person gets to choose to flip a goddamn coin. Whether or not that person gets eliminated, or allows everyone a chance to win 10 million instead of 5. Me personally, not a chance in hell. I am risking losing $5 million for 10 million on a 50-50 shot. A frickin' coin flip. Not a chance in hell. I am not risking my chances to win 5 million over a freaking coin flip. No, no, sir. I will pass on that. But yeah, one of the guys actually decides to try it. So he flips a coin. Next episode, we'll see if he gets eliminated or if the 6 of them will compete for 10 million instead of 5. And obviously, the coin flip, that's the cliffhanger for the episode. So we'll find out the answer in the next episode. You know how much $10 million would be? That is like 4 generations money, 4 generations of life-changing money. 4 generations, probably. Like, your great-grandkids would still be rich. Like, you know, you can splurge and spend it wildly. Your kids can, your grandkids can, and your great-grandkids can. And they would still be rich. $10 million. I'm going to convert that right now. How much is 10 million US to Canadian? Oh my god. $10 million US as of right now is over 14 million Canadian dollars. 14 million Canadian dollars. Okay, I just looked it up. That is nowhere close to the prize money for Squid Game, which is 31 million US dollar. Or 44.679 million Canadian dollar. Holy shit, Gi-hun is rich. $44 million. $44 million Canadian rich is Gi-hun, or 31 million US dollar. Okay, let's play some other music for now. 35 minutes I've been listening to this? Tomorrow night I have a big dinner to attend, so obviously nothing again tomorrow night. You know, I'm still hatching all of the Feebas eggs, and not a single extra shiny so far. You remember the Jirachi Wishmaker movie? How... What the hell was the character's name again? Butler? What was his name again? I think his name was Butler. Yeah, it was Butler. Yeah, remember how Butler was rejected by Team Magma? So then he tried to make a fake Goliath Groudon? Damn, imagine catching that in a Pokeball. Can you imagine? Hey, Mewtwo's man-made, and it could be caught in a Pokeball, so why can't this thing? If, you know, planet Earth human technology can catch space aliens the same way it catches animals on the surface of the planet, then why can't it catch that Groudon? Ooh, I wonder if anyone's modded that Groudon design yet. Modded that Groudon design into, like, you know, the big BDSP modding thing that's going on, even with, like, RegiTube. You know, there's rumors of a new Reggie coming soon, a ghost type one. I mean, hey, that'd be kind of cool, a ghost type Reggie. I'm down for more Reggies, just like I'm down for more evolutions. Like, it is criminal how both of those concepts are lacking so much. So underutilized. You know, the sooner we find the shiny Groudon, the sooner we get to move on to Rayquaza. And the sooner I get shiny Rayquaza, I get to, you know, maybe move on to another game before my trip. That'd be nice. So let's hope Groudon and Rayquaza don't take as long as Mewtwo did. I mean, it has every opportunity, has every chance to take that long. To take even longer than that. But let's hope not. Alright, let's see. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 boxes of Feebas eggs left to hatch. Oh, that looks like so much now. But that's so little compared to what I did have, which was like 20 or 30 boxes left of eggs to hatch. But, you know, 6 boxes of eggs, that's still a lot to hatch. My god. But I will, because I have to. If I want to get rid of them, I have to hatch them before I'm allowed to release them. You know, I'm thinking of redeeming the shiny Manaphy, as well as the, you know, Flying Terra Eevee on Pokemon Day, just so it could have a special day to it, a special date received, as long as I remember to do so. And yes, I did indeed also already find Rayquaza in the wormholes. So, you know, once we find shiny Groudon, we can immediately move on to Rayquaza. Alright, let's talk about the secret level episode, and then we can talk about Invincible. Alright, so, secret level episode 15. I spat everywhere just now. Episode 15, the last episode of season 1. This one was Playtime. Now, I'm not too sure what game this one's based off of. You know, when I first read the title Playtime, at first I was thinking Poppy Playtime. So, low-key, I was kind of expecting that. I was kind of expecting an episode based on Poppy Playtime. But clearly, that was not what we got. So, first we follow this girl who, with her drone partner character, is making a delivery, trying to make the delivery on time. She doesn't want to be like, you know, Peter Parker, deliver the pizzas late and not get paid. So her drone partner computer companion thing is able to speak with her, and then, you know, the goggles she wears also has, like, words that show up telling her things thanks to her robotic partner. So because she manages to deliver the package on time, which is like last second, but it still counts, she gets an upgrade. Her bicycle gets like hot orange, gets like blood orange instead of just regular orange. It gets an upgraded orange color. So she's on her like lunch break. This random guy shows up, tells her like, you know, you need to deliver this and only you can deliver this package. Now, you know, obviously she's skeptical about a random guy handing her a random package that only she can deliver. She doesn't know what's inside. Eventually, what's inside kind of breaks out. It's some sort of like bioluminescent, glow-in-the-dark blue starfish that like the authorities want. So a bunch of like, I don't know, cop kind of characters, police kind of characters surround her trying to get their hands on it. But you know, she's just like, nope, I can't let you have this. I need to deliver it now. So she takes it and she tries to deliver it to the address. However, her drone partner is kind of against it. So he tries to warn her to stop. Like, you have to hand that thing over to the authorities. And she's just like, no, I'm going to complete my job. I'm going to deliver it. So she's trying to deliver it. She's on her now, like, hot orange-colored bicycle, trying to go fast. But then a bunch of obstacles try to stop her. A giant, like... a giant colossus tries to stop her, and then out of nowhere, Kratos, God of War Kratos, shows up, trying to stop her. Like, what the hell? Why is Kratos here? But yeah, Kratos shows up out of nowhere and tries to stop her. The starfish thing can just create matter out of thin air, I suppose. The starfish thing gives her bicycle an upgrade. Gives her like a Tron style motorcycle, so she goes much faster. You know, the drone thing next to her starts fighting back, so then she's like, I'm done with you. So she leaves it behind. It almost gets destroyed. However, that thing is like, you didn't read the terms of service. So, you know, something in the terms of service is like, if you're disobedient, it's allowed to terminate you. Like, you know. And also because this episode takes place in a society where every civilian has one of these drone things next to them, it calls its reinforcements. And also because our main character is the main character, only she has a drone that has color on it. You don't want to, you know, not be able to tell which one's the leader of the pact. So the drone calls upon the drones of all the other people. They swarm her, they try to stop her. But then that blue starfish thing lets off a giant blast that gets rid of all of them, destroys all of them, and then gives her blue angel wings to descend safely onto the ground. Yes, that literally happened. So then she delivers it to the address. Turns out nobody's at the address. And then she realizes, this was all a game. This was all playtime. Because the random guy who gave her the package to deliver, he was in on it. And so were all of the police type of characters. Oh yeah, Sackboy appeared out of nowhere also. So it was all a big game. And, you know, she's just like, best 2 out of 3, you're on. And then, you know, they ride off. The random guy giving her the package was the Colossus. And then the episode ends. So yeah, I really question, like, where the hell did Kratos and Sackboy come from? Because both of them were random cameos. And I mean really random. Kratos showed up out of nowhere. I still question, why the hell was Kratos in this episode? Ugh, whatever. So yeah, there you go. The final episode of Secret Level. Let's change up the music. Whoops, I did not mean to exit out of that, but it's okay. Just gonna let my voice rest for a little bit before we talk about the first episode of Invincible Season 3. You know what I'm gonna do actually? While I let my voice rest, I'm gonna finish up a video I'm watching. I'm just finishing up Mr. Beast's video on, 100 hours inside the pyramids. Or as Gru's mom would say, the pyramids. I find it hard to believe that after all these thousands of years, how have we still not completely explored the inside of the pyramids yet? Like, seriously? This video goes on and on about saying how these pyramids were built 4,600 years ago. And you're telling me to this day, we still have not fully explored the inside? That is kind of hard to believe. I know they're huge. Like, they're huge, and probably pretty hard to navigate inside, considering it's all stone and rock and obstacles. But like, 4,000 years, people. We haven't fully explored all of it yet. But then again, what do I know? I'm no archaeologist. That's just me, though. You know, Mr. Beast in this video said he's 5 foot. No, he's 5 foot. He's 6'5". Man is a giant. He's taller than my tall friends. And all of them are taller than me. All of them try to be humble and say they're not 6 feet. They're like 5'11". It's like, boy, shut your 6 feet tall ass up. Talk to my 5'6" ass that you're not 6 foot tall. Shut your asses up. But anyways, like, yeah, my friends are just 6 feet, maybe 6'2" if I'm generous. Mr. Beast is 6'5". Man's a giant. Especially if I ever stand next to him, or rather, he ever stands next to me. God damn, if I ever meet Mr. Beast in person, holy shit, man, I need to look a straight 90 degrees up just to make eye contact with him. However, you know, Mr. Beast being 6'5" as he claims, and in this video, the pyramids have a lot of tight spaces to crawl. Haha! Suddenly doesn't feel so good being a tall man now, does it? Though I bet you if I climbed through the pyramid myself, I'd probably feel better, but not comfortable. Dude at the end of the video said S-scribe. Oh yeah, did you guys hear about that asteroid that could hit Earth in like the year 2032? Well, there's almost no point in being afraid of extraterrestrial, you know, impacts, because not a whole lot we can do. You ever wonder if one day another, like, you know, another extinction level asteroid hurtling towards Earth, if that ever happens again, do you think humanity would actually, like, send a nuke to get rid of it? It's like, we have to have contingency plans if that were to happen again, right? The chances of it are pretty slim, but then again, space is pretty big, and you never know. There could be another extinction level asteroid on its way to Earth right now, just billions and billions of light years away. So nobody in, let's face it, any generations in the foreseeable future would have to really worry about it. Like, let's say 10 billion years later, then the asteroid that's on its way right now poses an extinction level threat. Well, who's to say humanity will still be here by then? Or if planet Earth will still be here by then? Isn't it crazy to think sometimes think that everything is fated to end and die one day? And I mean everything. Like, obviously, we frail human beings will pass and expire one day. But I'm talking about, like, aside from us, organic lives, you know, materialistic things. Kind of like landmarks. Kind of like artifacts. We can preserve them for as long as we can. We can hold on to them for as long as we can. But, you know, everything's still fated to die and be destroyed one day. One day when the Earth is... When the Earth, you know, the Earth's core, whatever. One day when planet Earth as a whole is gone, or our solar system's sun goes supernova and takes the rest of the solar system, planet Earth will be gone as well. So unless we, you know, once again, contingency plan, launch some of humanity's greatest feats out into space, hoping our civilization will be remembered, yeah, everything on planet Earth will one day die. Absolutely everything. You know, everything we hold dear, whether it be a relic, an artifact, an heirloom, everything one day will die. But not anytime soon. I'm talking like millions to billions of years from now. When the you know, the sun goes supernova, or the heat death of the universe. That is eons from now. So until then, stuff like, I don't know, the Mona Lisa, that's safe for as long as we can preserve it. I'm about to go use the bathroom real quick, and then when I'm back, talk about Invincible. We're season 4, William. Now that season 3 is airing, we're season 4, William. I love that people made that meme when season 2 was airing. When season 2 was about to start airing, memes were going around online. We're season 3, William. Or, you know, people asking Michael Afton, where is Markiplier in the FNAF movie? Where's Mark, William? Anyways, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. Okay, I'm back, and that is not a yellow dragon lizard thing. What even would you say Groudon is? You know, I should probably go close the door shut. Oh my god, yes, I'm tired of ads. Okay, let's talk about Invincible Season 3, Episode 1. So this episode, or Season 3, takes place 3 months after Season 2 of Invincible. So we start off with Mark training. Or actually, we start off with Mark fighting the giant Cyclops from Season 2, who turns out to be, you know, like an 8-year-old boy who turned into a giant Cyclops. So yeah, the beginning of the episode is just Mark training, just like Cecil said he would make Mark do during the Season 3 announcement teaser. It's like, you know, endurance, stamina, strength, all that stuff. So we see exactly that. We see Mark test his speed by flying out to the moon and how fast he can get back. We see him test his strength by lifting up an iceberg in the Arctic. We see his endurance in lava, in literally molten magma. It's like he spent 7 minutes underneath. I'm amazed the suit was able to survive underneath lava for 7 minutes. You know, even though some parts did get torn up and burnt off, I'm surprised he wasn't butt-ass naked when he came back out. So back at like the testing, back at the facility or whatever, Mark is lifting something huge and heavy. Rexplode shows up and is like, damn, way to make a fellow superhero feel inadequate. You know, there's this issue that goes on. We see two brand new characters, stealing the Declaration of Independence. I don't know anything about these characters. They are two characters who look the same, wear different colored uniforms, maybe from the future. They have this like hovercraft kind of vehicle that they use. Hey, at least they parallel parked it. Anyway, so yeah, they're stealing the U.S. Declaration of Independence, which is a pretty important sheet of paper. Mark and Rexplode show up, but then Duplicate's brother shows up, Multi-Paul. So he shows up trying to kill Rexplode for letting his sister die. Immortal and Duplicate hear the news, so they show up. They show up there rather fast, actually. So Rex is getting the shit beat out of him by, you know, multiple. Mark goes crazy, starts killing off a bunch of them. Because, well, if you don't kill them all, if you leave just one, then he's still alive. Duplicate and Immortal show up to break up the fight. The two new villain characters, they get away with the Declaration of Independence. They fly off into, like, I guess a different time period. Well, Rex goes back to Guardians HQ, where he announces, or rather he lets the rest of the Guardians know, along with them being present, that Duplicate is alive, and she and Immortal are rejoining the Guardians effective immediately. Oh yeah, Rex also reacted to finding out Duplicate is actually alive all this time. And also, because this is 3 months later, damn near basically everything was fixed within those 3 months. Because Shrinking Ray, despite having all the bones in her body broken, she's back now, all healed up and ready to fight again. It's like, you would think if every single bone in your body was broken, you would maybe not risk that happening again under any circumstance. But whatever. Isn't it something about, like, you break the same bone multiple times, it won't ever heal properly? It's kind of like a scar. It'll never heal properly. There's always a mark there. Anyways, Oliver is much more grown up now. He even has his own superpowers. Like, his powers have already manifested. Cecil and Donald, they're watching over, like, the map of the US. They're seeing multiple incidences popping up. These kind of incidences could be linked to Doc Seismic, but they have him locked up, so it can't be him. It must be a huge coincidence. Well, Mark and Rex also had a talk about, you know, Mark and Eve maybe becoming an item together. And I gotta say, Rex is taking it very great. You know, especially the fact that he used to date Adam Eve. So it's like, hey, you're both my friends, I want you both to be happy. It's like W man right there. And then he's just like his usual self. Besides, if you two actually end up together, you will owe me for life. Well, nobody said he was perfect, but he's certainly much better than we first met him. So we get this nice little, like, cool down scene where Mark goes bowling with William and Rick, and they discuss it as well. Mark mentions to the two of them, like, hey, remember when I was stuck on that that dystopian universe? And I mentioned that another Eve showed up? Well, I didn't tell you everything she told me. And then off screen, he explains it all. They're just like, well, do you have feelings for Eve as well? Yes I do. But, like, you know, I should ask her out, that kind of stuff. Mark asked them, like, should I mention the other Eve and everything she said? William and Rick were very against it, like, no, you really should not mention that. So they're about to head back to campus, and, you know, a fun little scene where the car won't start up and Mark has to lift up the car and fly them back. Damn, you know how awesome that would be? That'd be so cool. Well, Cecil pays Debbie a visit because he now also knows that Oliver has powers. Debbie does not trust Cecil whatsoever with her kids, but Cecil, you can't blame the man for being always on edge, always thinking about the world's protection if fucking Viltrumites exist. Well, at the same time, one by one, every superhero in America is disappearing. I would think the US has a little bit more superheroes than like the 24 we saw. You know, it's not. I'm not expecting like VOT levels of soups. Maybe like 400 in the country. Actually, I think that would make more sense. 400 out of like what? How many millions of citizens in the US? Anyways, like, yeah, one by one, there's only like 24 superheroes in the US. That's quite little. But yeah, one by one, every superhero gets abducted into the ground. You know, Rexplode taking a shower, he gets abducted butt-ass naked. So yes, it was indeed Dr. Seismic, despite the fact that he was locked up. He was meditating for months, learning the frequency of the lives of the everyday lives of all the superheroes. How they breathe, how they live their lives, like the frequencies that they emit. So the reason Dr. Seismic captured all of them is to, you know, prevent any hero from stopping him, as he joined forces with like giant bugs and lava people from the Earth's core, from destroying the world. However, he did not get Mark or Eve. There's a giant ball of spit on my screen. Mark went over to, you know, went over to Eve's little like bungalow in the tree, getting ready to ask her out, and hey, respect. Man actually did it, respect. And she even said yes. So, you know, Mark, you're doing great. Until he messed it up by mentioning the other Eve, and that gets Eve questioning, like, wait a second, are you asking me out just because the other Eve gave you the idea? Like, did you even have feelings for me before she said that to you? It's like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I feel like if the roles were reversed and someone did that to me, I wouldn't really care. It's like, if a girl asked me out, it's like, wait a second, you're telling me that you're only asking me out because my future self said that he loved you. Like, did you even have feelings for me before he told you that? Or are you asking me just because he told you to do so? Me personally, I don't think I would really care. Like, a girl is asking me out, period. Does it really matter if she liked me before or after my future self gave her the idea, or like, does it really matter? Just saying hypothetically, not like that's ever gonna happen. So because literally every other superhero in America is taken, only Mark and Eve are left. Oliver overhears the fact that Cecil was told while in Debbie's home that, what? All heroes in America are gone except for 2? Oliver wants to help, but then, you know, Debbie stops him. Oh yeah, Mark, while visiting Eve, also mentions, like, in the 3 months, his mom's arm has completely healed. It's like, damn, everything happened in 3 months. Which I suppose 3 months would be more than enough for a literal snapped bone to completely heal up again. So, Mark and Eve go to, like, the Earth's core, and they fight off Doc Seismic. He summons a bunch of, like, giant bugs, giant centipedes, and spiders. It looked like I was watching Bakugan. Well, they put up a good fight, but they're getting their asses beat. Eventually, they get put into one of those, like, cocoons that none of the heroes can break out of. A robot is able to send out a signal of where they are. So Cecil sends in reinforcements. He sends in Darkwing 2, who was unhinged the last time we saw him, as well as a gang of Reanimen, and they are able to do work. Darkwing 2 takes care of Doc Seismic, but Mark doesn't trust him, nor does he trust the Reanimen. So he leaves to confront Cecil about it. Mark is just like, how could you do this? How could you make them work for you? Darkwing 2 and D.A. Sinclair are criminals. They deserve to be in jail. Well, actually, in this case, no, I'm completely on Cecil's side. Like, those are talents you kind of don't want to waste and throw away, especially if a much more dangerous and threatening Viltrumite is on the way. Like, you want all the advantage you can get, all the aid you can get. So, yes, D.A. Sinclair killed a lot of people, but, like, the Reanimen are tough. They actually put Omni-Man, they actually gave Nolan a challenge. And also Darkwing 2, he has the ability to go into the Shadowverse. That's actually kind of... those are pretty big things that you want to capitalize on. So yeah, Mark is not having it. He wants both of them thrown back in jail. Well, Cecil makes Mark follow him into that white room where, you know, he will unleash a whole bunch of Reanimen on him to try to get him to, you know, put him in his place. Well, the episode ends. Except we have a little bit of a post-credit scene where we follow up with Nolan as well as Alan. I forgot his name for a second. We follow up with Nolan and Alan, the alien, at the Viltrumite space prison. And I'm just thinking, does this scene take place immediately after Season 2? Or is this 3 months later in Season 3? Because, like, damn, 3 months has passed? 3 months has passed? And the two of them are still not executed? Unless they're taking place in, like, what was that sector of space called in the Superman comics? The negative zone? Where time doesn't move? So, like, damn, unless time doesn't move, you're telling me these two have not been executed for 3 months? So they're about to experiment on Alan. They're about to try to cut him open with a big-ass laser, but it actually does not work. Nolan is surprised by this. You know, almost showing that Nolan has a little bit of care that Alan is still alive. And that's good. Omni-Man showing compassion. Showing that maybe there is a way to convince him to join the fight against the Viltrumite Empire. And, well, that's mostly episode 1. Small things I probably missed talking about, but for the most part, that's episode 1 of Invincible. So yeah, when I watch more episodes, we'll talk about them as we go. Man, I did a lot of speaking tonight. How long has this been tilted for? Whoops. So, a couple more minutes and then I'll end for tonight. Wow, the music itself ended. Okay, I guess we'll hear the game audio for the last couple minutes. Well, I now have 4 boxes of Feebas eggs left to hatch. Slowly but surely, we're making our way through all of these eggs. Where is Invincible Season 3? Is it actually out? Ask William. The first 3 episodes came out 2 days ago. You know, I may be only going for a shiny Groudon. It's no shiny Groudon costume. If I had the game, I would love to attempt that shiny hunt. Hell, knowing me, I would attempt all the shiny costumes. If I had the game, that is. Alright, last reset and then I'll call it for tonight. Last one. Alright, no shiny tonight. See you guys next time.